We're here at TAC, sitting on the patio. What a view. Where are we at here?
Park City.
We're at the cafeteria, it looks like.
Yeah,
We are
just,
at the cafeteria.
just in the middle of the mix.
We
Got
got
Stella Artois just went by. Just snack.
we got
Just
Chris
scoops
B
them up.
on here. Talk a little archery. We shot this morning.
Yeah.
Thanks for jumping on with us.
Yeah. For
You
sure,
were nice.
guys.
You've been nice enough today. You gave us your whole day.
Pretty much.
Jumped on the
I
course
like
this
you
morning.
guys.
You got VIP passes for
I
us.
like you guys.
We shot the range, shot the elk course, which was super cool.
You know, I mean, I will start out with, like, I really appreciate guys that really care about archery and making sure you guys are dialed in and care about the little things, and you guys definitely care about that.
Yeah.
It's definitely refreshing to, shoot with the guys.
I shot around with you and Colby last year,
Yeah.
and I was telling Neville when I got back, I said, I think that might be the best round I've shot in a long time.
Yeah.
And there really is something to that, like
Yeah.
the guys that you shoot with and the level and the ability that they've got, it does kind of seem to raise
It
the
helps.
whole ability of everybody in the group.
Yeah, I mean, even in the group and, I mean, in every day-to-day practice, it helps. Like I was telling you earlier, it's like if you have a buddy or something, like you guys, you
Yeah.
know, and you're just constantly shooting with them and you're pushing each other and you just don't get lax, because you're
Right.
always in a little competitiveness and,
Yeah.
you
Your focus just increases.
Do you
Yeah.
practice with a lot of people? Other people?
No.
Yeah, me either.
Not
I
really.
never
I
practice
never do
with
either. I
anyone.
shoot alone,
Yeah.
which is probably why I'd make more gains if I
Yeah.
shot socially a little bit every now and then and just
I mean, back when I was like high school, college years, when we were more social about shooting, we were on like a team or you go to a club pretty often. I mean, there was guys there, and you'd shoot with them, shoot a league night or something. That helps tremendously too. Just not being a dormant living under a rock shooting.
yeah.
I think that helps even with pressure situations when you're shooting with people.
I think
Yeah,
so too.
no, it's
Yeah.
that's what I like about it most. Coming to these, like you're not just out by the range by yourself. No nerves. Like you come here, there's a little bit added nerves to
Yeah.
it. Just get you that much more prepared for a hunting situation when you got them all
Yeah.
piling down on you at once.
Every little thing helps because it's very hard to replicate that.
Yeah. So we appreciate you jumping on. Like I said, you've been very kind with your generous with your time.
Yeah.
How long you been shooting a bow?
I'm 25 now. I picked up a bow when I was like 6. Has a little red fiberglass bow. I still have it. When I was 8,
You still have it.
still have it.
That's cool.
When I was 8, I got a compound bow for my 8th birthday or Christmas or something. And then when I was 10, I shot my first deer with the bow.
At 10
Shot a deer with the bow ever since.
from a tree stand.
Ground blind,
Okay.
8 yards.
Nice.
Oh wow.
Yep. We could bait in Michigan back then. It was like a perfect view setup, corn pile and a ground blind 8 yards away.
Right.
Put the pin on in the middle of the deer and just let her rip,
What'd that feel like as being a 10-year-old? Were you ready for it? Do you feel like
I missed 3 deer before I killed one.
Gotcha.
I missed a
Biggest buck of your life.
no, it was like a 4-point. And I was rattled, dude. I remember just being I think that's why I loved it so much. I was uncontrollably nervous.
Right.
Just rattled out of my mind. I think until I was like 16, I was just like had buck fever in an insane amount. I don't know if that's normal or not, but it was like legs.
I think it
legs
is.
were,
Yeah,
it was like
Yeah.
before the shot even and
Mhm.
stuff. And
Yeah.
yeah, I shot a deer with a bow ever since.
Yeah, I've got 3 kids, and so it's interesting, like, 'cause they're all different, right? And like my 12-year-old, my oldest boy, I guess, when he turned 12,
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know if he's ready or not,
Yeah.
And then like right now, my middle kid, he just turned 13. He'll be 13 in November, and I'm trying to gauge it, like, are you ready? You're not ready.
Just gotta throw them in.
Yeah, I don't
Throw
know.
'em
It's
in by
interesting.
fire.
Yeah, I remember I shot my first deer at 14, I think.
Yeah.
And I remember it was pretty heavy. Like I felt like, I don't know.
It's
That
crazy.
just-
You
that
didn't
just
pick up
killed
a bow.
something. Yeah.
Yeah, I
You didn't
didn't-
pick up a bow till later.
I mean, I shot recurve as a kid, just like, plinking. But then, I didn't pick up like a compound and get real serious about it till I was like my early 20s.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, no, I started shooting tournaments, when I was 12. Started doing state stuff and just local
Do
stuff.
you have like a good club locally?
We had a really good club. Yeah, it was literally 10 minutes down the road, our JOAD program, Junior Olympic Archery Development Program, had like 100 kids in it every Saturday morning. So we had great
super
exposure.
popular.
Started doing that, state tournaments, and by the time I was like 14, we started going to some more national stuff. Finally got a target bow, and I like made alternate for a world team in like a division above me.
Oh.
And that's kind of when I was like, oh,
There's
maybe
something to this.
Maybe we could, maybe do well. And then from there, I did a United States archery team circuit. Made the United States archery team for 4 years in a row, 5 years in a row, something like that.
This is all like through your teenage years.
All through high school. Yeah.
Was it? Did it kind of preoccupy or take care? Like, was that what you did? I mean,
yeah, man.
Is that what your life revolved around? Was shooting a bow and arrow?
My whole life has been very, very cut and dry. I mean, I was very dedicated with archery. A lot of my fundamentals of archery were gained in, middle school, high school.
Gotcha.
Shooting every day. Pretty dedicated.
Did you feel like you had, either your dad or a parent or a coach that like pushed you to it, or is it something that was like innate in you that you just loved?
I think my parents were supportive, for sure. They weren't like the annoying, aggressive parents that you know what I'm trying to say. That are like
you're gonna win a gold.
Yeah, they were spending money to get me places, So it's like they're like, make sure you're paying attention. I feel like that's normal, Like I mean, like straight up, I was very fortunate that my parents were able to do that for me, like traveling around and stuff at a young age, because it was huge. A lot of my lifelong friends and life skills were built in that time for sure, traveling and I mean I picked up National Archery in the Schools program when I was in middle school. So a lot of people think I started with that. I didn't. I ended up with that. Did that all through high school. I mean, I made All-American teams, went to South Africa.
Wow.
Shot the world record the morning after the kid shot the new world record.
Oh, you torched it the next morning.
I was literally a morning
You were that
late.
guy.
Damn it.
He held it for an evening.
No,
he held it.
I would have said it.
Oh.
But he shot it the morning before
Gotcha.
I was a morning late.
Gotcha.
Yeah, tons of good opportunities. I had a NASP. I mean, nationals and world placing, and honestly, I'm probably most proud about my NASP stuff because that's hardest. I mean, you're against 10,000 kids.
Wow.
And when you come in second place, third place out of that many
that
kids,
is incredible.
It's a lot. And I practice a lot of that. I mean, I obviously done a lot there. But then, I mean, going out of high school, going to college, I went to Michigan State, shot collegiately for Michigan State, switched to shooting professionally and everything. And then the whole YouTube transition in that time and target archery is kind of a little bit on the back burner. I still really enjoy it and love it, but it's not. You need to be shooting every day to be even close to being competitive, and everything else I have going on, it's just not. It's not on the ticket right now, So.
Yes, you've been in it for a long time. Do you feel now that archery is more popular than it was back when you were doing it?
It's for sure more popular.
Yeah, a lot more people involved and kids.
Yeah, I think even in just my own experiences, like I just met a guy. He's like, dude, I watched your videos. I just picked a bow 3 months ago, and now I'm here. Man, that didn't happen.
Yeah,
that didn't happen back then. And it's like you got Joe Rogan and all these big guys that are these huge mass audiences of even just saying in the world archery could spark someone to a Google search, to spark someone to looking up a local pro shop. That is just like a funnel effect. If you show 100,000 people something, 100,000 people or 1,000 people will search it, 100 people will stick.
Yeah.
So it's cool. Obviously with social media and everything, there's pros and cons, but the overall growth of the sport, and with COVID and everything, with the way COVID was, it was actually really good for a lot of the archery world.
Yeah.
Because it's a sport you can do at home.
Yeah.
And by yourself.
I feel like the hurdle's somewhat high to like get into archery. I mean, when you look at the equipment, it seems complex, right? You look at a compound bow, and you talk about draw weight and draw length and getting fitted for a bow and then tuning a bow.
And then the technique that comes along to shoot it accurately.
It seems like the hurdle seems high to get into it, but I don't know anybody. I mean, very few people that like get into archery that don't just, genuinely love it, really like it.
I call that a barrier of entry.
Yeah.
It's like that's how do you do that in a pleasant way where they don't get turned away?
Yeah.
And same thing with getting kids into hunting. How do you have a good first experience?
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, you got to plan the hunt for them. You got to take care of like their just like those quintessential kids needs. You know, snacks, sleep,
Games.
You know, they have to be comfort, warm. Games. Yeah,
Yeah.
keep them occupied and entertained, and you can kind of plan for that.
No different with archery. No different than anything. Like if I jumped on that mountain bike right now and crashed,
Yeah.
I probably would hesitate getting
Yeah.
on it again. You know.
Yeah.
So it's just one of those things. There's a lot of complexities to it, but you can get into it simple.
Yeah. So from an early age, you've had coaching. Yeah. You've had good coaches. I
Yep.
mean.
So I had some in that local Joet club. I mean, there was a lot of volunteer coaches that kind of started me out. Next, I went to Jim Morrow of MJC Archery in Royal Oak, Michigan. He coached quite a few people. I mean, he got me on back tension.
Gotcha.
That was the first time. I was probably
How old?
15.
Before you went into like shooting a hinge or back tension release?
I shot at Evolution for 2 years straight. Never
Okay.
shot
Did you?
anything other than Evolution.
Really?
Pressure release.
Yeah.
Built my fundamentals on that.
Okay.
And then switched to a hinge. And then just
Was
rocked
that
the hinge.
under kind of the direction of your coach then?
That was under direction of my coach. Never really had target panic, but it was like these are how you learn how to shoot a back tension and the right
correctly.
fundamentals of
Yeah.
not hesitating or anything like that. And that was a little long-winded. I think you can do that same thing in a couple months, you know, or a similar process. But yeah, I mean the coaching in my life it's been great. And then Jim Morrow, I mean he coached me for a couple years, and then I started traveling more, and that got me lined up with George Riles.
Yeah.
And George Riles really took me from like a good shooter to a great shooter, of being like diving in just a little bit deeper into some mechanics of this and that, and this is why that happens when this happens, and and then some tuning stuff, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean George Riles is an OG legend that's underrated for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, we talked earlier when we were on the hill about
yeah.
George and just, how good he is with
He's, he just doesn't have a big social following like some of these other guys do, but I mean he's in Atlanta, Georgia, and he's coached more world champions, I think, than any other coach I can think of, unless they're just a United States archery coach or something where they
I just
through a
really
program.
appreciate the videos that he has done. I mean, the one I keep going back to is he does, a stabilizer setup, and he talks about
Stabilizers are.
Yeah, it's
funny.
Incredibly informational, and like it's to the point. He's very good at like being concise and being able to explain the principles that he's teaching. So
And that's huge, and that just boils down to that barrier of entry, trying to dumb it down more and more, and the more that you have stuff like that, the better.
how much like mental management coaching do they mostly? And I've never had like a formal archery coach, right? But and I realize, I know that the days that I shoot well, the days that I don't shoot well, there's no difference really in my equipment changes. I'm shooting the same equipment. It's just between my ears, right? I know it's a
right. Yeah, that was kind of what I was gonna ask, because like you were talking about how you kind of made a jump to like you were good, and then like you kind of went to the next level. Like, was there anything that you can remember like something started switching and you figured out? Like,
I lengthened my draw length an inch and a half.
Really?
I had a really bad year when I did that because it took a lot, but the most people draw lengths are too short because they go through the growth spurt and then they never catch up to it.
right.
And that's what I did. That was a big one. But yeah, just learning more, just overall understanding your equipment more, shooting more. It's just it's no different than understanding how deer work or elk work. When you understand how elk work, you're a better hunter.
Yeah.
It's no different than that.
Becoming like a master at your craft.
Yeah, you can pick up a bow and be a machine, but I don't know.
Do you think some people are just naturally better shots?
Yeah.
For sure.
Some people are just more talented than others.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
which is a sad truth,
Yeah.
but I really think it is.
Right. I mean, you look at any sport, right?
Yeah.
There's people that are physically just more gifted.
And I think that's on the mental side of things.
Yeah,
I think
agree.
some people are just stone cold killers, and some are just too rattle-brained and can't handle it. And going back to George with the mental game, I mean, I've read like the Lanny Bassam books of mental management and stuff, and there's a lot of things you can do. And Joel Turner is huge on a lot of the mental games aspect. I think the biggest thing that really, on like a tournament side of things, you go through this stage of if you've been in at a young age where you're in these youth divisions and you're doing really well, and then you get bumped up to the pros and you're worried about, you're now in a pro and all these things, and then there comes a time where you have like income, You have a job.
Mm-hmm.
You're more stable.
Yep.
And then you worry less.
Yeah.
Right.
And then you do better.
Did you do better?
Uh-huh.
You probably weren't put as much pressure on
You
yourself.
don't put as much pressure on yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No different than hunting. You get a couple
Gotcha.
good kills under you.
Yeah.
You're like, I got
get the
this
monkey
figured
off your
out.
back a little bit.
Yeah, I got this figured out.
Yeah, there's a certain confidence that comes with that.
It's confidence.
You've done it before, and you're like, I know how to do this thing. It's just you just go into it more confident,
Yep.
knowing that you can do it.
That's huge. I mean, that's on a macro scale. On a micro scale, shot to shot, I mean, it's like you really have to treat every shot like it's the only shot you're ever going to shoot. You know, you can't. If you have like a 30 arrow, Vegas round, and you look at it at a 30 arrow standpoint, I'm going to go shoot 30 arrows. Got to shoot 300. Hopefully I don't miss.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to shoot 300. If you look at it like, all right, I'm just going to go shoot. Let's start with arrow 1. Go shoot 10. Let's line up. All right, good job. Forget about that one. We're going to go to the next one. All right, just another arrow. Here we go. 10. Good. And you just
One
it's
at
no
a
different
time.
than going page by page in a book.
Yeah.
If you fly through it and read the end, you're not going to know what's going on.
Right.
Yeah, I
you
just
know?
recently wrote an article on kind of like some keys that I think are, like paramount to making a shot on an animal, right?
Yeah.
Like, how many guys do you think pull back their bow, like on, a buck or a bull, and the first thought is, I hope I don't
I
miss.
hope.
I
was
hope.
thinking
Or I
that,
hope
yeah.
I hit it. Or I hope I don't miss.
Yeah.
I think a lot,
Yeah.
right?
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, people innately, I don't know what that is in us, but like that's the negative self-talk in a lot of
It
us.
Right.
I hope is a bad deal. You have to know.
Yeah, I
You
know.
have to be confident. And that starts with equipment and practice. You can't be at that step if you are ill prepared.
Yeah.
You know.
You have to be all in.
Yeah.
I feel like. What are like in your opinion some like key, factors to becoming more accurate with your bow?
Practice.
Practice?
I think that's underrated.
Yeah.
I think people get way too down this rabbit hole of tuning and equipment. You could pick up an untuned bow right now, and if I shot
big
that
giant
thing
left
for
hair.
a month, yeah, giant tear,
Yeah.
giant tear, broadheads fly wherever. I sight into my broadheads, it's whatever. I'd be more confident in that bow if I had 1,000 arrows through it than a perfectly tuned bow with 100 arrows out of it.
Mm-hmm.
You and I are very. I'm of the same mindset. Like I'm exactly
Yeah.
the same, and that was one of the other points that I wrote in this article was just repetitions. And I talk to people all the time, and they say, I don't shoot that many arrows. I might shoot 1 or 2 a day. Only one arrow counts.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, if you're only shooting 1 or 2 or even a handful a day, like you don't have the innate muscle memory
Right.
when you need it
Yeah.
to be able to execute that shot. That's my opinion. And
Oh, 100%.
I think repetitions. I mean, when you pull back on a buck or a bull, it almost has to be automatic.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah.
your muscle memory has to be so tight, as close to
Yeah.
tight as it can be, that it's
Yep.
just automatic.
Yeah, you've
Yep.
done it so many times.
And that's
just
what I
goes.
think too.
Yep. No, I
Yeah.
agree. I think people just get down this like FOC fixed versus expandable. Like, you know what I'm
Man,
saying?
there's so
Like,
many tunnels you can
way-
burrow into. Huh?
way too stuff that they waste too much time on.
If
That's
it flies
not,
straight, that's all that matters.
not really that important.
Right.
You could kill an elk with a field tip if you wanted to. An untuned bow with a field tip. It's
Yeah.
not. I mean, you won't. But I'm just
Sure.
saying you could.
He's not saying do that,
No,
everybody.
I'm not saying do that. Don't do
Relax.
Are you saying to
But-
shoot elk with a field tip?
Chris B said he shoots elk
that. At 100
with field
yards. with a
tips.
field
at
tip.
100 yards with a field tip. Write that down.
And untuned.
Yeah, onto left hair.
It's matched.
Left hair shoots best.
I know some friends, like even some friends from high school, they were just straight killers, and their setups were all jacked.
Yeah.
It's like they just shot a lot, and they're
Right.
confident. It doesn't matter. Same bow, 10-year-old bow, and it's like they just shot a lot. They're confident in their setups, and then there's guys and friends that are all tuned up and think way too much about it, and then they just they
Mhm.
fudge the shot.
Do you think shooting competitive archery has done, good things for you as far as your hunting and being able the mental management of those moments?
Yeah, I really think the mental side of things for sure has helped. Just be able to cope with those, just because you're in those moments more.
Do you get nervous still?
Oh yeah.
Like you set up on a line, like at a Vegas shoot, for example.
Oh yeah, that is bad, dude.
Is that
It is-
is that the
it is-
height of it?
What
is
are you
embarrassing how
telling
bad it is.
yourself?
Yeah.
Calm down.
What's your self-talk?
Yeah. What's
Uh,
going on in your
into
head?
What's your shot process like?
So I've done well once in Vegas. I made the Vegas shoot off once, and I was really dialed mentally. That's all it is. Vegas is a mental game. Everyone that's shooting the pro division should be able to shoot 300 any day of the week. The guys that do just have their mental game zoned in. So you have I think my favorite is a phrase. Say a phrase.
A phrase?
Yeah.
What's the phrase?
It's something, I don't know.
I'm the
new,
man.
Anytime. I mean,
Don't miss.
I know. Yeah. Joel Turner, does a lot. You count 3, 2, 1.
Right.
Yeah.
sing
Here
a
I
song.
go. Or
Here we go.
yeah,
Here we go. And then it goes
Yeah.
off. I think a phrase just keeps you really locked in and keeps your mind from wandering.
yeah.
The worst thing is when your mind wanders. It's that hope. I hope I hit this. I'm kind of low. And then boom, the shot goes off and it's a 9.
Yeah, I do that quite a bit. I'll get into my anchor,
Yeah.
my pin sits, and if it feels like my timing is not quite right and it's not going,
Yeah.
I have a tendency to my mind to wander.
Yeah.
Like I go to
Right.
the next thing.
A
Like why
wandering
is it?
mind is really dangerous.
Yeah.
That's why a phrase is really good.
I just watched a video on like flow state.
Flow state.
Yeah, and they talk about how like routine.
Like creative flow state.
yeah.
Yeah.
If you do like this routine to get you into the flow state, and I just thought instantly of like archery. Like you have the get your hand on here, pull back, put your nose on, put your anchor.
You get into practice flow states. You guys ever have days where you're practicing and it's like, ooh,
Oh yeah.
it's like you just can't miss today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love those days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that happens in target archery a lot.
Yeah. So you got your YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Which is growing. Also, you have involvement with the company Ultraview Archery.
Yep.
How did that start?
Yeah, so going right alongside like my timeline or whatever, Colby Hanley, we started shooting competition archery together around the same time. We met, we were 14 or so.
Oh, so you guys have known each other for
For a long
time.
time.
We were actually enemies because
Really?
we both were really good and we'd trade the podium.
Would you trash talk him?
No, I mean, no.
Is there a
no,
lot of
do you
trash
want to
talking
right
in
now?
competition archery?
Yeah, screw you, Colby.
Screw you, Colby. Wish you were here.
Yeah, no, do wish you were here. But yeah, we were just rivals. It's like we were in high school and we were like both. One time Colby would win, the next time I would win, and back and forth. And then finally, like it was with George, like the whole gang, and we just like got to know each other at like more than just on the line level. And it's like, this is dumb. Like, let's actually like, you're cool.
Yeah.
So we started just connecting the whole crew around like George and everything. I mean, we had a really tight knit group traveling around and whatnot. And then he started making these 3D printed stuff, and he's like, I need some photos. And at the time I was, doing stuff. I was probably 18, 19, probably like freshman in college or so.
She's pretty young for that to kick off.
Yeah. No,
when did you start your YouTube channel? Were you like 18, 19?
I was 16.
16?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Shit.
I didn't know that.
Uh-huh.
You've been at that for a while then.
10 years.
What were you
Oh,
doing
wow.
when you were like 16? Just same kind of stuff?
Stupid
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah, whatever. I have
You
every
might have to dig back in his first YouTube
Yeah.
videos. See what he's doing.
I have every deer I've ever killed on film since I was like 14, besides some random does.
That's
But
crazy.
we've been going hard at YouTube for like 3 years.
Yeah, I didn't realize you'd been at it for that long, for 10 years. That's incredible.
I think it takes about 10 years for something to finally start, to get to a level where it's like, something where it's at now. I think it takes time.
Gotcha.
But back to Ultraview, we Colby and I got connected, and I mean, since the start, I've been with Ultraview. I mean, like Colby ran and tinkered around for like a couple months, and then he brought me on to do the photos and videos and stuff, and then it just morphed into more and more and more, and then we were operating out of George's basement.
Oh, really?
I would fly down and stay for like a month in summer. I think the longest time I was down there was like a month and a half straight, just grinding away, website stuff, learning stuff. Everything was bootstrapped, dude. We never had any infuse of money, or we literally started Colby's dorm room, and then went in the basement of George's first house, and then his second house, and then the back of George's shop.
Yeah.
We like shaved out this little corner, and that's when Colby finally hired his first employee, was there. And then from there, which we thought it was a huge jump at the time, which we quickly outgrew, but it was a 4,000 square foot,
Oh, wow.
2 offices and a little bit of warehouse, went into that, and quickly outgrew that. I mean, we hired a couple more people. We launched the UV3, the B-Real grip, and both of those really took off.
What was the first product? Scope?
The first product was Scope.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I remember I went to ATA, and it had to have been in like 19, maybe?
Probably.
Maybe 2018, 19. Yep. And I remember walking the entire floor just looking for products for our shop. And
That's
just
probably UV2.
Yeah, keeping an eye on things. But I remember popping by and talking to Colby and looking through the, the scopes. Yep. And I don't know, man. You get a feel, like kind of a vibe, like, hey, there's something to this. Like these guys are onto something, So it was like right out the jump, I knew it was like a company to keep an eye on.
Did he have to do any convincing? He said, hey, I'm going to do this. You want to join me? And you're just like, yeah, I'm in.
Yeah, I mean, we from the start, I just did photos and videos. It wasn't for a while until we started diving in deeper into like
products.
Like now, it's like I'm very heavy with product development and business and everything along those lines. But yeah, I mean, from there, then we moved into we're in a 10,000 square foot space now, and we are full. It's like in a year. It's just crazy how it all.
Yeah, that's incredible.
How it all happened.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Then, as you guys launched, you got the hinge release and then the hinge 2.
Hinge 2. We had the B-Real grip, UV2, a couple accessories, and now since this podcast is going to be coming out later, I teased you guys today, but next is the button. UV button.
The UV button. That's what you're going to call it?
It's going to be called, yep, UV button.
Yeah, we had a chance to kind of hold it today. Yeah. I should have grabbed it and shot it.
Yeah, you should.
Yeah, there was a lot of people around.
Yeah, there were. I know. But it does feel incredible.
Yeah, no, we're really excited about this product because it's finally a product that everyone can use.
Yeah.
With our Matthews grips, obviously you need to have a Matthews.
Yep.
And UV3, you need to have a compatible sight. But with this, I mean, anyone can shoot it. Anyone. Which is really great. We're really excited and also Archery as a company, we started out very much so as a target oriented.
Yep.
Colby's target archery.
Yep.
I'm obviously target archery. George was, but the market is very much pulling us in a bow hunting direction. A little obviously like my influence with it, but it's like
that's you
guys
doing the
are using UV stuff. We're hunting all over the place. So with this, it's a very confident step into the bow hunting side of things.
Yeah.
It was designed for a bow hunter. It's like every little working piece of it is the best button we could possibly make for the bow hunter, but it also is a target archery button.
Right.
I've really been blown away the number of people I see that are hunting with the UV scopes.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
it's
just on the range today, there's like 3 or 4 people you saw have those on.
And we get tons of calls and questions.
Took us by surprise.
Yeah.
It really did. I mean, we were thinking that was going to be like a niche target deal, but it's very much proven and showed that it's also really good hunting.
It seems like there's been a little bit of a difference. Like a lot of people are running their, bow setups like target,
it's
where I have back bars. You know what I mean? Like
it's a crossover.
We're trying to be as accurate as possible. So you're seeing more hunters trying to buy the best quality, stuff that a lot of target shooters shoot.
Yeah, we call those the prosumers, guys that dig really deep, but they don't do target stuff.
Yeah.
Like you guys are perfect examples, like myself, we're diehards, but it's there's more and more of those because people get in archery and then it's like, well, how far can I go with this?
Yep.
And then they just keep rocking and rolling into it. But
yeah, I mean, shooting a bow and arrow is fun, and it's the most fun when you're hitting what you're aiming at, right?
That's why you get nice stuff.
So when you get good equipment, you start shooting a back bar, a nice stabilizer setup. You get an UltraView scope, and you see the benefits and the ability of shooting that. I mean, pretty soon you're like, I can translate this into hunting, and I like hitting what I'm aiming at.
Yeah, I mean, equipment helps to a point. Going back to your point, I still think practice is the number one thing that is most important. Equipment will enhance your good shooting.
It'll make a good shooter better.
Fix your shooting. Yeah, fix your shooting.
Yeah. I think I heard you say that at one point. And I was thinking about that as well. I think it can, if you don't have proper methodology and execution, it's not like you're going to put a pair of stabilizers on your bow and it's instantly going to fix your form.
Yeah.
It's not. But if you're already
it can make it worse.
it can make it worse. Yeah. But if you're a good shooter and you have relatively good mechanics, and you get a stabilizer setup that can work for you, I think it can slightly enhance your aim, if you will.
Yes.
Same with the release.
Yep.
I mean, you got a brand new release. Is that going to make you a world champion? No, but if you learn to shoot that thing correctly, it can help.
That paired with good mechanics and practice.
Yeah, good mechanics.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. And that's that's all it is.
Yeah.
Really.
Well, the release feels sweet. Like I mean, you built that
Yeah.
off the same
So,
last as the.
This
I don't know
has
if you call it a last, but
No, it's the same
frame.
frame. It's the same exact feel, same dimension, same everything. And the thing is we built that. We didn't build that release. We built the hand. You know, it's like we decided internally. We did a lot of research and everything. It's like this is the average hand size and feel and what's comfortable, and then built it around it. So it's like we're not going to change that.
Right.
You
Yeah.
know? So it's like you pick up, you know, the new in the hinge. It's going to feel the same.
Great
And-
thing about that is you can ping pong back and forth
Right.
between the two, right? You can
Yeah.
buy a hinge too.
Yep.
You could shoot that thing for practice, kind of work on, tension and what that feels like to execute a shot, kind of that relaxation through your back half.
But
and
then hunt with the button or
and
whatever.
then translate that to the button where you got a little bit more control.
Yep. And that's probably what I'll do. I mean, like
You're going to
I've,
go to it, huh?
I've hunted with a hinge for a long time, but I really like hunting with a button too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm kind of, I'm thinking about it. I was telling Neville the other day.
Trail's a
Yeah.
big fat liar. He won't do it.
I'll buy one.
Yeah.
And I'll shoot
Oh,
it,
yeah.
but whether I'll continue with it forever will be one thing because I
really love
to
the fact of hanging it on my D-loop.
Yeah, that's
Just
great.
That simple fact.
Man,
dude.
especially
Yeah.
for a tree stand hunter,
Yes,
right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Even some spot and stock stuff. Like we took it
Yep.
down in when we went to Texas, we took it down and it was nice, like spotting and stocking and just kind of clipping it on your deal. We're also going to have this. It's going to be a string retain. Like we have the string retainer, but it's also going to be a string clip
Yeah.
that clips into the
Cool.
string. So
I see you'll be able to have like a wrist strap with it.
yes, it has
Okay.
it has an attachment that you can
Nice.
attach it to. Yep.
Yeah, and the thumb barrel that you had on it felt so comfy. For me, I like the
Mhm.
way the thing that's set, back of my thumb, the
Yep.
depth felt perfect.
Are you guys
I
going
like
to
the
do
size
different
of it.
barrels?
We will do different
Yeah.
barrels. Yep.
Gotcha.
Yeah, we always have and we always will. We are just making them a little more refined, and we're going to be machining all of them now. We getting away from all the plastic stuff. So
Yeah. I feel like today's day and age, I mean, you have to give people the ability to make it their own, which
They
I've
need
always
to
appreciated.
customize,
Yeah, I've
yeah.
always appreciated that about you guys. You've
Yeah.
given people the ability to make it their own.
yeah, and I mean I think that's what people want. They like to tinker.
Right on.
Mm-hmm.
What are you excited for this fall?
Got a moose hunt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's probably all you can think about,
yeah,
right?
man. I mean, I just bought flights and did the whole deal, so it's starting to feel real.
Yeah.
You know,
What time of year are you going for that?
August 30th we fly, and it's first 2 weeks of September.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
that'll be
that's-
cool, man.
That's my
I'm
big
jealous.
adventure hunt this year.
Yeah,
Yeah.
after watching you shoot today, I think you'll be okay.
I hope so. I hope
On a
it's-
moose.
I hope it's.
And then the
I
target's
hope
even
it's
bigger.
bird
Yeah.
up coming at me at 10 yards. That'd be
Yeah.
sick.
Yeah,
We'll
they
see.
get those big antlers swaying back
Yes.
and forth.
What's your setup going to be for that hunt? You going to change anything?
I don't know yet. I gotta mess around. I am gonna go like with the new bow, so that's gonna depend a little bit. Just what the specs and everything runs on that.
Yeah, what are those?
Yeah. Tell us more about
I might get
specs.
sued. Nah, it's
Just
cool.
kidding.
But are you going to shoot your same normal arrow that you shoot at whitetails? Same arrow weight?
I don't know yet.
You're still
I don't
you're
know if
still
I'm gonna
praying
do
on
4mm or 5mm. Probably do fixed blade. I think I'm for sure gonna do fixed. Maybe a 5mm fixed blade, 4 fletch.
it.
Man, I think you'd be okay to go with like your same elk hunting setup.
Yeah.
Yep.
A
Just a
4mm?
good
Yeah.
sharp fixed blade
Yeah.
broadhead that's tough. With
400,
4mm was
460
great.
grains.
Yeah, 460
Is
to
that what your arrow
500.
is at? 460?
460 was my
Yeah.
elk one, yeah.
Yeah, I think that'd be fine.
460 is pretty.
Oh, yeah.
450, 460, 440 to 460, I think
Yeah.
is the sweet spot.
Yeah, I think mine's like 445.
I'm
I shoot,
yeah,
just shoot it at
462.
everything.
Yeah. I think that's the sweet spot. I mean, 70 to 75 pounds with that. You can shoot anything in North America.
Yeah.
Yep.
Be good
No, that's
to go.
cool. So you got some whitetail hunts?
Yeah, so we got whitetail and mule deer and kind of the same old, same old. Couple new ones, couple new spots, but yeah, we're packed again. Arguably overpacked, but
Because
we good.
now you're living in my neck of the woods. You're
yeah,
in Iowa.
now, yeah. So we'll be 2 years soon.
2
Yep,
years.
2 years in there.
Did you
so.
move just for the whitetail?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you did.
Partially.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's good. I mean,
Smart move. Smart move.
It's more centrally located too, so
Right.
traveling around
Yeah,
is
for sure.
great. You know, being in Michigan and driving, like Michigan hunting is fine and great, but I don't know. And then you get all the guys that are like ranking on you for moving. It's like, dude, it's America. You can literally go wherever you want.
Yeah, why wouldn't you move?
Yeah.
I'm about ready to move to Wyoming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Work remote.
Yeah,
do it,
man.
Live in the best states that you can hunt. Like, I mean, if that's
Why
your
not?
passion,
That's your life,
why would you
yeah.
not want to go somewhere where you can
Why not?
do that every single day.
Kansas was thought about for sure. I mean, Kansas is sweet. Iowa, though, I mean, long term is to own land. And with land, you can shoot $3.
Yeah.
So it's like, long-term plan, I'd like to travel less a little bit. So
Yeah.
it's like if I can have home base of 3 tags, home base for whitetail, I mean, that's a no-brainer to me.
Is whitetail still your favorite hunt?
Gosh, I just love whitetail, man.
Do you?
Yeah.
Just in your blood?
Yeah. It's like when I think of like 2 things that I could do any day of the week and replay in my mind over and over again, it's like a 160 walking through at 9 a.m. on November 9th,
Right.
and you just hear like,
Yeah.
and you look, and it's just like there, hits a scrape, and you just freaking center punch it.
Yeah.
That is like my ultimate dream hunt, and I could do that every day of the week and never get sick of it. Secondly is coming over top of a bedded muley and just having him stand up in his bed and just freaking clock him at 40.
Yeah, that's such. I mean, when you say that, it brings up such visceral emotions and feelings and memories. When you hear the crunch of the leaves, you can almost feel the air, the smells.
Yeah,
just right down to the clothes, everything. That whole experience just becomes very visceral. I think that's why you keep doing it.
These adventure hunts are awesome. But it's like I just really love being able to do whitetail and mule deer and everything every year. Like elk last year was even like a once in a lifetime. Like I shot a giant. Everything just worked perfect. If that never happens again, like I honestly would be okay with it because it just happened so great. Like I hope it happens again, and obviously we're gonna try, but
it'll happen again.
Had you hunted Iowa before you moved there ever?
Yeah, I did.
Did
you? So my dad actually put in for me when I was 10. When I was 16, we went out there, shot like a decent one, and then again when I was in college, we went out, shot like another.
So you kind of knew what you're getting into.
Yeah.
'Cause I talked to a lot of people from like way back, even further east of Iowa, and then you hear about it, but once you go and sit in the woods in Iowa and you see the deer and how much bigger they are, you're like,
when I was
holy
16, we went on a pretty sweet piece of property, and it was like, oh my gosh. It was like
different beast.
Ruined hunting for me forever.
Coming from Michigan?
Yeah, where I saw like 100-inch deer in Michigan was like, oh my gosh. And you saw those like every 2 seconds, and then like you see a 150 and you hesitate.
Right.
You're like, like I passed some deer last year that I shouldn't have just because I got like that. I don't know what it was. It was greed. It was greed is what it was. I should have just smoked a couple of them right off the bat. It's a great morning. 145, 50-inch 4-year-old walks by. Should have clocked him, and I didn't because I was being greedy. I lost that lease because the property owner sold it, and it's just done.
Right.
It's like you just don't.
Yeah,
they're wild animals, man.
I love that video of that buck you shot in Kansas.
My God.
I don't know how many views that got, but I've probably
how many views is that?
I probably added 15 or 20 of those to that one myself because I've
like
watched a bunch of times.
600 plus.
Yeah.
That'll never happen again.
Yeah.
That I will put $5 million down. That'll never happen again. I literally dropped a pin in a map. It's like, this looks good. Went and sat there, and in 4 hours, I shot a booner. That never happens, man. Public, no.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, but it proves the point that if you don't do it, you don't know.
If you don't do it,
you
don't
know what I mean? You took a chance, right? Dropped a pin on a map and went and did it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the same way with mule deer, elk hunt. People say, there's nothing in there. Well, probably isn't, but
I couldn't even imagine like that roller coaster of emotions. Because like you're going into there, Kansas, you just dropped a random ass waypoint, public land. Like you have,
dude, I was gonna shoot a 120.
Right, you had expectations of like, I'll shoot anything almost, like a decent buck.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden you look and you're like, holy shit, that is a big
buck was
deer.
awesome.
That is a big buck.
Yeah. No, that was wild.
Yeah, it was cool the way he approached and everything. The way that developed, that was fun to watch.
That'll
Damn
never
it,
happen
I need
again,
to go
man.
whitetail hunting. Son of a bitch.
That'll never happen
I'm ready
again.
to go. I need to get back in the whitetail woods.
Whitetails is fun.
Well,
Can
that's
be a grind
cool.
sometimes, but.
Well, thanks, man. We appreciate you taking
how
the
are we on
time.
time? Are we
I don't know, but I know that
Ooh.
we've
phone's out of temperature.
I know we've taken
We're
a lot.
we're like 40 minutes.
I know we've taken a lot of your time today. So
I love hanging with you guys. You guys are fun.
we appreciate it, man. We know you're busy, and it was fun to shoot with you again.
Yeah, and be sure.
I wish we lived
everyone
closer.
listening here, check out your YouTube channel, your Instagram.
Yeah,
all that good stuff.
Yeah, you got merch.
Yep. We got merch.
Be Real merch.
The Be Real grip.
Yeah.
Be Real grip. Ultra View. Brand new release coming out. Look for it. We'll have it you know, in the
You'll
shop.
have it at the Go Hunt shop. Yep.
Go Hunt Gear Shop will have those, hot and heavy. So pick one up.
Let's go.
Thanks again. We appreciate it.
Thanks for being on.